Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Friday. Joining us on the phone lines now is I don't even know what to say about your title anymore. Are you just a political pundit? Is that what we're going with now, Sue Mosley?
I don't know. Do I need a title, really? I mean,
Are you on a speakerphone?
no. I'm actually on an old-fashioned landline phone.
God, it sounds terrible. Sounds terrible.
Let me change phones.
God, it's just not good.
Phone if I can switch out to make you feel better. Hold on.
Yeah, it's just not. It's like I don't know what she's doing.
Is this any better?
That's a lot better.
Oh, look at that. Modern technology.
Modern technology. So I called you because I wanted to talk to you about today about we've touched on it briefly, but it somebody asked me yesterday, what's up with this election cycle? You got people entering the race, then dropping out of the race. You got write-in candidates that said they're write-in candidates, but then you don't hear from them. What's up with the disappearing candidates? And, it starts with, let's start with the obvious, people that get in the race, and then do they find out that there's probably more to it than what they thought originally? Is that the problem, or is it deeper than that?
Well, you know what's funny about that? This whole election cycle has been weird. It's been very bizarre. It truly has, because of exactly what you said. So many people got so excited and jumped in and jumped right out. And why? And
I mean, within days. We're not talking about jumped out a month and a half, 3 months down the road. Within days of putting their name in, gone.
Raised money. They raised money right out of the gate, which is, a difficult process and not always easy because people like to wait and write their checks towards the end. They don't realize the candidate needs the money in the front end of the campaign. But these people actually raised money and still got out of the race. So what was it? And you know what? I hate to say this, but they were a bit cowardly. I think they find out the magnitude of what's involved in campaigning, and they get a little weak. And in my book, that's not the kind of elected official we want. You got to have a little bit of stamina, and you got to have some backbone. And backbone is not. They also get a little heat, or they find out, from a good friend or a relative, hey, I'm supporting your opponent, and all of a sudden their feelings are hurt and they're gone. I mean, what are we raising here?
Which lends me to think that it is one of those situations where it's not really a lot of people in this election cycle. Anyway, it looks like people didn't choose to run because they wanted to hold office. They chose to run because they thought it would be a popular thing to do, like they were running for class president or something, and then realized it wasn't that fun and just decided, oh, well, I hadn't spent too much money on glue and construction paper and glitter. I'll just get out.
Exactly. And that's what, and I think you and I have talked about this before on your show. That is exactly part of the problem of what is happening with the perception and the image of what people are thinking a elected official should be. And they're thinking it's a celebrity type of status. And we can blame a lot of our current local elected officials because they're everywhere shaking hands and kissing babies, and they become, popular, and it's fun to know them, and you can pick up the phone and call them, but we don't know what really they're doing as the job we've elected them for, because all we know is that they're out socializing. And I think that's what happens is people jump in to run because they want to be, like you said, the homecoming queen, and then they realize, wait a minute, I have to learn the issues. We recently saw that at the Republican Executive Committee County Commission debate, where one of the candidates, she had no clue about anything that was going on in the respective office she was running for, or any of the other offices that she would be dealing with on a county level. It was
you mean why she thought that the school board had to answer to the county commission, and why she didn't know the difference between a 1 mil school board tax and a 1 cent sales tax?
Correct. And yeah. So
I don't mean to laugh, but
that was the most enlightening forum I've been to in many years.
But let me ask you this question: can some of the blame be laid at the novice political teams that have decided that that, for years, you knew who you were up against. You knew the Randy Osborns of the world, or the Kirks of the world, the Kirk, Kirk Kellys of the world, or the Sue Mosleys of the world that ran campaigns. It's something y'all did. It's something you knew how to do. You had the connections in Tallahassee, all the stuff that actually runs a prototypical campaign. And now you have people who are wannabe king makers and queen makers that I think are doing it just to live vicariously through the people they're trying to get elected without any regard to whether they're quality candidates and can do the job or not.
Well, again, it gives you popularity, and they're going out and finding just anybody to run without properly vetting them. And then this is what we end up with, and you're exactly right. They're not going about it for the right reasons. And then you've got some people working for the special interest groups that are like, okay, go find me somebody who's going to vote exactly the way I tell them, that I'm going to give them enough money, I'm going to control their vote, and they just want to be popular, so they go along with it. So now we've got an ethical concern with the person because they're bought and paid for, and they're okay with that. But then again, that lends credence to the society of young people that we're raising, where women, girls want a sugar daddy because they don't want to get out and work, and guys are just gamers and they just want to, they don't want to get out and use a shovel. They just want to sit at home and behind a computer screen. So it's easy to just, let me take your money. I'll vote the way you want. I'm going to get a nice fat paycheck, and it's a win-win.
Now, some have said, you have not said this to me, but some have said that you, because of how that has become a popularity contest and how it's the novices are coming in and trying to bully their way through and everything, that it's just you've taken a back seat this election cycle, as other people of your stature have done as well, because it's just not worth the aggravation of what you have to wade through to do it. And if that's the case, are we ever going to have a quality candidate or quality teams to vet candidates ever again?
Well, exactly. And a big part of my frustration was going up against the big money conglomerate men that handpick a cute girl, put her out there. They don't vet her, but she's willing to do exactly what they say, and then you put a quality candidate up against them, but they can't raise the money, or they're afraid of the conglomerate, wealthy men. It's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it for a quality candidate who's doing it for the right reasons, for the passion to serve the community, which is the right reasons. It's not worth it to that person, to go through the hell that they've got to go through to get elected or to win. And for me, it's not worth it because I'm tired of seeing good quality people get beat up for no reason, because the money men or the king and queen makers or the new wannabe popular people that want to come out and just be politically involved so they can be tagged as, somebody in the know, it's not worth it, because I'm not going to mention any names, but we have a mutual friend who jumped ship, got in with the first crop of candidates and introduced them all around, and then a new crop came out and he liked them better, so he started parading them around. Well, that's wishy-washy to me. I've been in situations where I've got on board with a candidate who might have been a friend or an acquaintance that asked me to help, and I got on their team, and then I met their opponent and I realized, hey, the opponent actually is better qualified.
Yeah. Well,
in those cases, what I have always done is said, listen, I already stepped out on this campaign, but I realize you're the better qualified candidate, so therefore I'm going to get out of both campaigns and just remain neutral, and may the best man win.
Well, it's one of those cycles that we're not going to get an answer to, but I appreciate you coming on and talking about it this morning. We're up against a break. But, it's a shame that people are being driven out of the elections. Sue Mosley, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Tom. Talk to you soon.
We'll be back.
0.6%. Sad news out of Japan. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, one of the nation's most powerful political figures, was shot and killed during a campaign speech Friday in the western Japanese city of Nara. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Two Federal Reserve officials backed another 0.75 percentage point interest